Okay, so this one is a little more about brand and really communicating a vibe. So, Heyday Canning is a brand. It's pretty new and they make canned beans, which might sound really boring unless you're me and are obsessed with beans. um, but I think they get everything right in terms of branding. So, they have gone super retro. So, if you kind of look at their site, the colors that they use, the labeling on their beans, um, and, vintage Polaroid, like even the flash or like the use of lighting in their photos looks very vintage. The tools that they're using from the napkins to the wooden spoon and like the enameled pan, their color palette. And then look at that. Like, doesn't that just look like your American grandma's cabinet, you know? So, or maybe my cabinet. um, so thinking about that, so they have chosen their colors. They have designed their label using designed their photo shoots and everything to really communicate this vibe. But another thing that I think is easy to overlook is the actual packaging. So they are using cans. They didn't have to use cans. I mean, we're seeing a lot of like bagged um, products like this on the shelf. Like if you ever shop at Whole Foods, they come in these sort of like beans in a bag or sauces in a bag, and they're using a can, which is again a very vintage retro kind of thing. So from we could say like soup to nuts, from the beginning to end, they are staying really consistent. And even when they pair it with items and communicate recipes, they are staying consistent. So it's something to consider. Just a quick note about like, does your packaging and your labeling have the same vibe as your photography and your even the language that you use can have a tone that feels more retro and vintage, or that feels more state of the art or irreverent like Oatly, or um I use them as an example all the time. I apologize. Or maybe buttoned up if you want to be a little bit more refined. So this all depends on who your audience is as well. So knowing your audience and knowing what you want to communicate and what vibe you're going for will help you to really make sure it filters through everything you're doing.